Go a simple one, Doc. You got a lot of lovely colors on you, but which one is your favorite color? And any particular reason why you can share with us?
Can I say more than one?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I definitely have three main favorite colors. Red, orange, and pink. I black technically, but I don't know. I just like I'm not sure if I consider that color,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I just really love how warm they are, and I particularly love the colors between the three, like orangey red or orangey pink, like a salmon or yeah, I love colors in between them. There is just a very warm color. Like I love red in particular because it feels very intense, like blood or I used to actually hate red when I was young, and I loved
Oh,
blue. And it's the opposite now. I love red, and I just I don't really like blue.
gotcha.
Like red, yeah, red used to feel so angry and aggressive, but now I love it because it feels so compelling and intense. And blue, I used to like. I don't remember why, but now I just like it because it feels depressing. Like a blue, like some blues can be very electric and upbeat, but in
Mm-hmm.
general, I find blue to be a depressing color, so I'm not
Gotcha.
fond of it.
Ah, understood.
Yeah.
I guess it makes you depressed to look at me then. I apologize.
No, no, no. Yours is very, you have a very, what's it called? It's not the depressing sort of blue, I would
Oh,
say.
nice.
No.
I'm lucky. But so you're
Yeah.
saying though you like the more aggressive red right now, orange, like you said, and pink. Those are like some of your favorite colors right there.
Yeah. They're just, it reminds me of like blood and flesh. So,
Nice.
and, and I love orange, like in particular, like my room, like my office is orange. The room I sleep in is orange. It's just a very nice color. Like it just makes me feel happy and it makes me feel more awake. I feel
Sure.
like if my walls were like white or blue, I'd feel asleep, like sleepy, or like I feel like I would be in a hospital room. Eh. Like it's like I like hospital rooms, but at the same time they're very bleak and empty, very sanitized. They don't feel welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Except for like I went once to this like this hospital thing, like a place that had a lot of specialists and you could do tests there. It was quite fancy and their washrooms were like yellow, but it wasn't like tacky yellow. It was like very well done, like the internal what's it called? It looked really good. It looked very welcoming. So yeah. Anyways,
Nice.
love those
Okay.
colors. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's a very simple reason. I like your reasonings. So
Yeah.
that's
Do you
delightful.
have reasonings for your favorite colors or no?
Honestly, blue was just something I always liked the look of it. I can't tell you why. I just know I've always liked the color blue. Maybe because it's got a very chill yet kind of deep vibe to it. I like water too, so has something to do with that. I'd say perhaps. And my brother's favorite color is red, so that's why I also have red. So we're kind of a cool combo like that. And blue and reds are pretty complementary when you put them together. So if nothing else, because I love my brother, I like blue because my brother does like red. So I don't know, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
blue can be quite good as a complement color for red for sure.
yeah,
For
exactly,
sure.
exactly. And they make purples, and purple is very regal, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's very fancy. Like back in the day when people sorry, this is a little tidbit. Like it's
Yeah.
a definitely a very rich color because the pigment of purple was a mineral that was very hard to find, very expensive. So it definitely still has that connotation of being rich to it.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's a nice little
It
tip. That's cool.
yeah, because like I used to do stained glass. Like my art's very stained glass inspired, but I also did some actual stained glass work. And it's still for stained glass, it still has those rules. If you see something pink or purple, it's very expensive because stained glass uses pigments still, like the natural stuff. It's not like, I don't know, artificial pigments.
Wow.
Yeah, so when it comes to stained glass, if you see a lot of white and blue, and like desaturated green, those are the cheapest pigments to make stained glass out of, so it's highly likely you'll see that. Pink and
Fascinating.
purple, yeah, pink and purple is very expensive, so if you see that, you know they're flexing. It's like, So expensive.
Oh, that's good to keep an
So
eye out. So stained glass that's
yeah,
got the purple and pink going on. Yeah, they paid for
yeah,
that. They paid
yeah.
top dollar for
It's
that.
yeah, like my instructor, like usually when she would have a client that's like, "Oh, I want it pink or purple," she would have to convince them otherwise because it's so expensive. Like,
Oh,
because like it's just like, is it really worth it? It's like 5 times the price. You really want to
wow.
pay that much? Yeah, it's huge difference. Yeah,
Damn. Well, there you go,
yeah,
folks. Pink and purple. Definitely to get those
yeah,
colors the natural way. Expensive.
yeah. Or like if it's a custom, like really opalescent, custom made stained glass, piece, it will cost a lot too. Yeah, sorry, it's very unrelated.
No, it's
From
not. We're talking about colors. That's
oh
fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not unrelated at all. But let's see here. Let's go into another one. Another simple one. If you can answer this easily, this is a pretty easy one. Your favorite food and least favorite food.
Oh, I love Korean food in general
Oh, nice.
and ice cream. Like yeah, Korean food like Korean chicken, what's it called? KBBQ.
Ooh.
And I forgot the name of it. Like this sort of potato noodle that's kind of like glass looking. I forgot the name of it.
Oh,
Like
I think I know what you're talking about. That stuff is delicious.
yeah, that stuff's really good. And then also like the cheesy corn stuff.
Ooh,
Um,
yep.
that stuff's really good. And then what I just really the thing I really love about Korean food is that usually there's a lot of greens with it It's very it feels very refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like when foods are so heavy that there's barely any greens. Like I love vegetables. Like they if you only have carbs and meat, it feels very like heavy. And what else? What's other? There's just a lot. Oh, those Korean rice cakes that are kind of like shaped like an eye but thicker.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're in like spicy sauce. Like I've noticed in a lot of Korean dishes, there's a lot of sauces and flavors that are very sweet and spicy. And I, in particular, that's like my favorite type of flavor combo, sweet and spicy.
Oh,
So I
great.
really enjoy it. Yeah. And then I don't know if I'm saying it right. Bimbab or what was it called? That sort of rice bowl that has like a sweet and spicy sauce, and then rice and other vegetables. That stuff's good. I just love most Korean food. It's just very refreshing. Hmm. I like Indian food. It's just that there's not a lot of Indian restaurants that I have
Sure.
access to lately.
But what's something you're not particularly a fan of? Like you said, maybe it's combinations, things that are too heavy, or is there like a food that you could single out? It's like kind of like, yeah, I can't eat that stuff.
In general, I try not to dislike food because I see food as similar to like colors. I feel like a food can be good if it's cooked properly or in the right context. Like I used to
Oh,
dislike liver, but I had it cooked completely different, and I was just like, wow, liver can actually taste very good if it's cooked properly. So I, in general, tend to not be like, this food sucks forever. Like I would say maybe I'm usually not fond of gelatinous textures like Jello or those balls in bubble tea.
ah,
But
yes.
I imagine if maybe if it's paired in a dish that has a lot of crunch to it, it could be a good complement. So I usually don't write off something as terrible
That's
for my
cool.
taste buds. Yeah. It's just I feel like if I dislike something, I feel like I'm just not knowledgeable enough in that item. Like, but there is exceptions. I know some people are born with this sort of this taste bud, like they're like cilantro tastes like soap. If you're like that, you can't do anything about
I
it,
didn't know that.
right? Yeah, I found out because I worked in a restaurant for 2 years,
Right.
and people are very adamant, like no cilantro, because they will be able to taste it if you accidentally put it in, right?
Yeah, it's got a
Like
very
they'll
potent
taste it.
flavor for sure.
Yeah, like for them, they can't stand it. So I learned from like cooking with food that people straight up they have a gene or something that makes them not like it. So yeah, I don't have that. So I just am like, if I don't like it, I probably haven't had it cooked right, is how I interpret things.
That's a nice
Like I would,
interpretation. I like that a lot
yeah,
personally.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, also licorice, I suppose, but I don't think I've had like maybe licorice in a certain dish might taste good though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of licorice myself, but again, you're right because food has so many possibilities. There may just be a
Yeah.
way out there for that you can enjoy it. So that's a great perspective.
Yeah.
That's a very unique way to answer the food question. I like that elaboration you put onto it. Thank you for that one, Doc.
Yeah, like you know how some people are like, "Oh, if you don't like this, you're unbased." I'm like, "Bro,
Oh
chill. It's
yeah,
just
yeah, sure.
chill."
Yeah, for reals. No, no, no. That's not why I asked the question. I just want to see what you like and dislike. That's all. I don't mind. I'm
Yeah.
not a picky eater myself. I do like to try things a lot too. So again, I
Yeah.
really appreciate your dive into why you don't necessarily have a least favorite food. You may not like it when you first tried it, but that's not
Yeah.
the only way to enjoy it. Like you have iterated so many
Yeah.
ways, which is beautiful. Um,
Thank you. But also,
yes.
sorry, if I
No.
want to add to that, there's
Yes.
this big trend on Twitter right now of putting like really weird food combinations, right?
Sure.
It's mostly like I'm not sure if you've seen them. I feel like it's more so for the shock value to get people to react to it with disgust and therefore get more likes in the algorithm,
Yeah, the
that sort
algorithm.
of shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting boring, but some of them, I'm like a fair amount of them, I'm like I would be willing to try it, but you would know it's probably not done well. But maybe if a world-class chef took those two key ingredients and made something amazing out of it, it could be pulled off. But there's some things you know won't be. There's no saving it, like NyQuil with raw chicken. You can't save that.
That'll kill you. You can't eat raw fucking
No.
chicken.
Like
That'll make you
or like
sick.
gasoline or something like that sort of thing. You know, there's no saving. But yeah, when I see a weird combination, I usually am like, I'll try it, because sometimes you find weird combinations that actually work.
Did you
You
find any?
know? I would say I didn't discover this one, but I know an example of something that's sounds weird but actually tastes quite nice. Celery with peanut butter on it with raisins. I heard
Hmm.
I heard about it on the internet. It sounded weird and I tried it. I'm like, oh, this actually works pretty well. Like, I think one of the main reasons why I see food like this is because I had someone like when I worked in
The kitchen for two
that
years,
restaurant.
right?
Yeah, I met someone like that I would consider a food god. Like
Oh,
a Michelangelo of cooking is how I would describe them
nice.
because they had so much experience with food. They said they could imagine foods together and like imagine how it would taste like because they're so familiar with different ingredients. Like they can just come up with different food combinations and they were working on making cookbooks. Like this person's just OP when it comes to food, and just the way they describe food really just opened my mind to it. Like it's just really, they just are very knowledgeable of like how different foods react with each other. Like it's kind of like colors too. Like when you put different colors with each other, they change just like flavors. So
Wow.
um
Hey, on that topic of
yeah.
food, let's talk about your kitchen experience, however much you're comfortable with sharing with us, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, I won't say where I worked because
Yeah, no need to say that.
uh,
No, no. Just talk about the experience and kind of like the how you did this, or like your first experience with the food. What you want to share? Go on the tangent right here. Let's hear about your experience with cooking for 2 years. It sounds like it was a wonderful time in its own right.
yeah.
Very educational.
Thank you. I sorry, I keep bringing it up. It's just that it was a big part of my life for a while,
Yeah,
you know?
I don't apologize. You're my guest. I want to hear more about you. That's the point here. Let's hear about it. Let's hear about this point that you can't keep locked down. Let's hear about the cooking experience.
Well,
Go
thank
for
you.
it.
So like it was like a big part of my life because it was like the first job I had I actually enjoyed, nothing like shitty like retail. Oh God. Oh God. Or like working cash at like a coffee shop, which I will not name, but it's a certain franchise and everyone I know knew that worked there, it was shit for them too, so
Oof.
it's the first job I worked at that I enjoyed, like I really loved. I was lucky to work at a restaurant that had coworkers that I really got along well with.
Nice.
Like I think I mainly had that because it was a huge restaurant and the more people there is, the more personalities and more likely you'll find someone you can get along with, right?
Right.
And it was like big, like there was like a morning team and an evening team, and half the time I would be in between or in the evening. I would say I the evening team are definitely my people. They're like a little nutty and crazy. Yeah.
Nice.
It was fun because I do enjoy cooking and also the staff was so fun to work with. So I enjoyed every day there.
Oh, that's so
But
good.
yeah, and the people were so interesting. Like before VTubers, like that's what drew me to VTubers, like, just getting to see different types of people. Like I got to meet and experience many different types of personalities in my cooking job. Like
Sure.
I would say the way people act on the line while cooking kind of reminds me of VTubers. It's just very raw, not very like um if you work front of house, I would say you have to have a certain amount of reservedness and be polite. But if it's your own stream, you can be as silly as you want.
Sure.
So, yeah, you just get to know a lot of people, and you kind of both have that similar love for cooking. But yeah, in that job, it was big enough that they did cool events. Like, there was a cooking contest, which I
Ooh.
didn't win. And what else? It was a good enough restaurant that a lot of celebrities came. Um, Yeah, I
Wow.
remember. Yeah, I had this one coworker that loved K-pop, and this one K-pop group came to our restaurant on his day off, and he got so pissed off. He was just like, I don't care if it's my day off. You know I stand them. You should have called me in, please. Because of that, like I actually don't give a shit about celebrities, but a fair amount of them came in because it was a good enough of a restaurant that people like that would come. Oh yeah, that being said, before I got this job, I did work at other culinary jobs to give me the credentials to get hired. So I wouldn't say you could get a job like this straight out of high school. Maybe if you did a Red Seal program, you could. But yeah, um, sorry, let me take a sip.
Doc. Drink up, take your dad. Drink up, hydrate.
Yeah, it just I really enjoy that part of my life because I fulfilled that kind of need to see if I should become a cook. Like it's one of my three loves, but I developed a really bad allergy at that job.
Oh no.
Um, I'm allergic to citrus now, so I don't have as much as a deep love for cooking and eating as I did before then because
Hmm.
of that allergy. And then I got some health problems, so I have to be more particular about what I eat.
Sure.
And I don't exercise as much as I did when I cooked. Like when you're a line cook, you would know you sweat your ass off. You are if if you're fat and you're a line cook, that's I'm just like, whoa, how? Because you sweat so much, like you drop the pounds, like
Wow.
because you're running around all the time, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I guess people that have a little bit more on them, it's kind of like it might have to do with their genetics or like I don't know. I feel like if you work there and you're young, you will sweat the pounds off, but yeah, you're really on your toes. And because I'm at home and not doing that anymore, I can't eat as much as I used to. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't be like, oh, I'll eat whatever. Who cares? I'll sweat it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't eat whatever. But like, yeah, I was in really good shape. And also, one thing I really learned from working there is that I do not ever want to be in any sort of romantic relationship with my coworker, because that can end badly. I'm
Nice.
not gonna get into it, but I learned firsthand that, by the way, guys, you should not do that thing at work. Because
Ah,
if it doesn't turn out well,
it gets messy.
it gets messy. So, yeah. And also, I would say when I worked there, not to be a whore on Maine, but I basically had a harem there,
No
if you know what that
way.
means. Yeah.
You're that sharp, eh, Doc? You don't just look sharp on the VTuber world.
Like, it's because I drew myself. I don't know. I feel like it's because I was watching this VTuber and they were like, for some reason, line cooks are hot because of this. And I was just like, oh, is that why everyone is a whore? I don't know. There was just everyone is so flirtatious there. I don't know. Maybe it had to do with like how old we were, a lot of people being my age, and being fit, I suppose. And my outfit was kind of flattering. I don't know, it's not super flattering. It's a fucking chef outfit.
But you
So
looked good, is what you
I
said.
suppose so because I had a lot of I don't know, half the time I feel like it's a joke, but sometimes I can't tell I'm a little dense. But it did feel like a harem thing. Yeah.
Folks, Doc living the harem IRL. There's a reason
That
why the doc's on the show.
no, like that was the first and last time I experienced that because I would say I'm more closed off and shy now.
Oh,
I
okay.
wasn't back then. I was a bit more like
Outgoing.
out there. Yeah, it's kind of also if you like where I worked, you kind of had it was like emotionally taxing and physically taxing emotionally because you had to learn how to manage and deal with people to get them to do what you want because it's just a stressful job. So sometimes you would have to learn how to make people feel good to make them do what you want when it comes to cooking. That makes me sound
Hmm.
like a total dick, but
I don't think
kind of
so.
like I would kind of act more nice to people because I wanted them to help me with my food because I'm like, bro. Because if honestly, in a lot of jobs, if you're bad at your job but nice, people are more like willing to work with you rather than if you're good and you're a dick,
That
right?
well, that makes sense. Kind of just in life in general. Who wants to hang around a piece of
Yeah.
crap? Who
Like
wants to help them?
I learned a lot of stuff about life at that job, and that's like one thing that really cemented in my mind. Like there was someone that was really good at cooking, but they were such a fucking dick. I'm like, can you give me the girl that's only worked here for 2 months instead? She's a delight to work with in comparison to that bitch. Please. Like, it was a very it was a very emotional job because you just had to deal with people to get them to do what you want.
Sounds
Because
like it
it's not
was.
a very
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead. I was saying it sounds like it was very rewarding though. In the end, you took away a lot from it.
Yeah, I did. It's definitely like I realized near the end, um, I'm really glad I was able to do that, fulfill that sort of thing for myself. But cooking is, I realized, not what I want to do with my life, really.
Oh, okay. Well, at the very least, it made from some crazy, emotional, very moving, and like I said, cemented memories. Way to go there! Nice job. I'm glad you survived the
Yeah,
experience.
I had a lot of crazy stories from there, like so many, holy shit. Like
Well,
I'm just saying the general experience of it, but oh my God, I definitely, I definitely partied hard. With yeah, people that work in kitchens, like yeah, they know how to work hard, party harder, you know. Like goddamn. I feel like I would need like one or two shots to really say how I would just go on forever about my stories, but I don't want to
oh,
keep everyone forever.
don't worry about it. Hold on one sec, Doc. I gotta get to a DM real quick. Just real
Oh
quick.
yeah. Hey, if you guys ever want to work in a restaurant, I would recommend it. Unless you're I don't know, I have physical problems with myself for sure. That's why I couldn't do it for long, but I don't know. I would recommend it if it's not like McDonald's or some shit. McDonald's is just hell on earth. I haven't worked there. I have friends that work there, but yeah. If, I think it might depend on your age. Maybe if you're in your 30s, maybe not. I feel like if you're in your 20s, I feel like working in a restaurant is a really good experience, especially if it's a restaurant with really good people. Like I would say working in a place with more people is good because you get exposed to different people, but at the same time, if there's too many people, there's a lot of like logistical problems with that, which I don't want to get into. So yeah, I would recommend it. But also, if you work front of house, like a waiter, hostess, that sort of shit, I respect you so much. That shit seems like it sucks away your soul slowly but surely. Because I don't know, I witnessed firsthand how two-faced some of the front house people would become because they just had to deal with so much bullshit from the general population. I'm just like, oh, bro, I'm so glad I'm back of house. I can be as cringe and real. I don't have to pretend or anything. Well, I feel so bad for front of house people. Some people like it. I actually heard that a fair amount of people in acting do front of house. Maybe it helps with their acting skills or some shit. But yeah, cooking's pretty bulk. I don't know what else to say. Jeep, why'd you leave me? Jeep, Jeep.
I'm back. I'm back. I just wrapped it up. I just wrapped up, Doc. I'm so sorry.
No worries, no worries. I ran out of things to say, and I was like, "Why did Jeep leave me?"
This is the
I'm
DM I
so
had to take care of.
alone.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No
Okay,
worries.
so we had the great cooking experiences right there. Let's go into
Yes.
your model design and whatnot. So,
Oh,
what inspired you to make the model like this? What inspired you to give it this look?
I'm goth.
Well, that's all it is. That's all there is to it. Is that it?
Like I basically took a doctor's outfit and incorporated elements that I like. Like I love wearing black IRL.
mm-hmm.
So my main outfit's black, but also I incorporate some of my favorite colors like red, pink and orange. Orange you can't see as much. Like I made the metal parts like copper, so that's like the orange.
Sure.
Um and basically since I'm Dr. Punica, Punica means like pomegranate because I love pomegranates. So
Oh.
the patterns on the bottom part of my jacket is like a pomegranate, and then I have a very tiny earring that's a pomegranate, and then I really like doing really curvy line work, so there's a lot of curvy lines on my jacket, so yeah. And
Cool.
I didn't really think too much about the hair and the face. I just drew I reinvented and changed my VTuber design like maybe 4 times for over a year and then finally went with this. All of a sudden, I was just like, you know what? This is it. I think this is it, right?
It's a very
Like,
sleek and attractive model for sure.
like I could be more fancy, but I feel like I feel like my model's fancy, but not too fancy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like some people are like, I'm a god or I'm a demon, and they have this really weird persona of like looking down on people, and I'm just like not into that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little VTuber. So I don't know. I feel like really fancy designs feel for me too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Yes.
Okay.
And
Well, then the simplicity worked out for you. You got
yeah, and
yeah. Go on.
oh yes, I also incorporate textures into my hair and clothes because I most of my art has texture in it. But yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, while we're on that subject, I remember you said the VTubing experience is somewhat like the cooking experience, many different personalities. What inspired you to bring it to the VTuber forefront, if that's okay to ask?
What inspired me to become a VTuber?
Yes, precisely.
Okay. Um, kind of discovered that VTubing is the only sort of hobby or platform where I can pretty much dive into all of my interests all at once and not have to like give up one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still new. Like I'm not really making much, but one day I want to make this what I do, or at least like on the side or something. Like I'm trying to find a full-time art job right now,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I just also with VTubing, you just get to meet so many different people, and with COVID, I feel like my social life plummeted, and I just want to become social again, meet people that I like vibe with, and hang out with them. And
Yeah.
I feel like in the VTubing scene, a lot of people have similar interests to me, and it's like easier to find out
Sure.
if you can get along with them because you can just watch their stream and see if you'll vibe, and yeah, and also, I just like the look of VTubers more over people. Like, oh yeah, 2D over 3D. Let's go.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh, so sorry. I just burped for a moment. I'm so sorry.
oh, no worries, no worries. But yeah, yeah, VTubers just look better. But that being said, I prefer VTube like VTubers in general look good, but I prefer watching them if they have a bit if they don't look like they're 12, if you know what I mean, right?
Mm.
Uh I feel like this is more of a problem with female VTubers, like they just look so young. I don't sexualize the VTubers I watch, but I'm just like it's kind of interesting. It's a very complex issue.
Yeah,
But
I get where you're coming from there, But all the same, I'm glad you came to the platform to socialize more and find common interests while you're looking for an art job. So it's a good,
Thank
no,
you.
a lot of good reasons, and I hope you're enjoying it so far. The community has been quite nice thus far, I think, for you, and you've been meeting some wonderful people. So I'm glad
Yeah.
I met you for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like one of the few people I'm like, I can consider this person a VTuber friend.
Aw,
We get along.
I'm flattered to be a
Right.
VTuber friend.
Because, like, I mostly want to meet people that I feel like I can bounce off of well or get along with, and I feel like Jeep has passed the vibe test, you know?
Yeah, all
Like,
right.
yeah, yeah. So if you ever want to collab, hit me up.
I for
Yeah,
certainly will. No, no, no. You don't. That you always cross the mind if I have events coming up or something I can think of. And don't worry, this ain't the brush off here, folks. I'm actually just quite busy. I'm lucky I can commit to these schedules that I have, but I'm very happy that I can. So, Doc, you're awesome. Trust me, I like hanging out with you. And this will not be our
thank you.
last. This will not be our last bout.
Yeah, if I saw you more in that Discord we're all in, I would pop in. It's just that I always like, I don't know, there's no ping for like when people are in, so I usually miss it when everyone's hanging out.
Right, you kind of just gonna have to
Yeah.
hover like over the server to see who's like in the voice chat, right? That's your best way to
Yeah.
figure out who's hanging out in there. That'll be your best bet. Because yeah, they're right. There is no ping. People are just chatting in the voice chat and whatnot. Um,
Yeah.
let's see here. So that's the lore for that one. Let's go with this one. Okay, okay. So we only have a few more questions here. So which has been one of your favorite streams that you've done thus far, and why?
Oh, I'm pretty new to streaming, so
Oh, if you had to just
maybe
pick
the
one.
maybe the one of Arrow because I
Ooh.
or you because I feel like I
Aw.
actually had fun and was didn't feel nervous. It felt it felt like I was really being myself because sometimes I get stage fright and
Hmm.
I get nervous and I'm like, oh, like it's harder for me to like act like myself or be entertaining. So streams that I feel comfortable in are definitely my favorite. And those two, like I feel like only recently I've kind of gotten better at streaming. I'm still struggling with technical stuff,
Sure.
but yeah, I think recently with those two streams, I feel like I've gotten a lot better and I've had fun. And oh, also I enjoyed Arrow streams like with other VTubers because I love collabing with people and meeting new people. And the way he sets it up, I really like streams like that. They kind of like set up with prompts to kind of keep the conversation going. I really love streams like that too. Yeah.
Nice. So honestly, let's give the win to Arrow. You both like collab Betray and your actual collab when you did surgery on him. So, Arrow,
Yeah.
well done.
Well, also I would watch more of Arrow's like collab or betrays, but they're like my time zone is so different. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, like when they start, right? Isn't it like 7 in the morning for you? No,
Yeah, I'm just like,
eight in the
ugh.
morning. 8 in the morning is when the show starts.
I'm like, fuck. Like, cause I am bad. I wake up at noon, so
Noon sleep. Hey, I can relate. I wake up around like 11, so just an hour before 12 noon. So don't worry.
yeah.
I wish I could catch. I try to catch them when I can, but I know where you're coming from. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, Arrow. It's so early, but I really like the show. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. Like I talked to Arrow, I was just like, could you do two shows, like one for American time? Because I believe Arrow does it so early for European time
Mm-hmm.
zones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, if you do another one, because it's popular enough, you could. But he said no, he can't handle doing two of his full-time job, which makes
That
sense.
does make sense. He's gonna have to stick with the one that can
Yeah.
cover the most bases all around. So unfortunately, that means PS timers. It's really rough on you folks because I believe you're a PST.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Arrow would be doing better if he had another version with like later, because I feel like there's a lot of people in the North American time zone that he's missing out on. I feel like mainly Europeans are watching Arrow, to be honest.
it's quite possible. I don't know myself, but I'm
Uh,
glad he's taken off so well. So let's see
yeah.
here. And with that, of the favorite streams, let's see here. Nah, we covered a lot here. Let me see here. Nah, you know what? Let's put a nice little ribbon on the show right here. We've been going for about a couple hours, and we got to know the doc very much about the cooking experiences that they went through. Somewhat IRL harem, but don't have a relationship in the cooking workplace. That's a no-no right there. How
No, no, no.
We learned so much about the expensiveness of purple and pink when it comes to stained glass windows and art, and the Doctor's progression, as it were, into becoming the person we see today for better interactions. So, folks, give it up for Dr. Punica here, right here, for our one lovely